continuing our conversation with State Senator Bryan Hughes from Mineola. Senator, I know there's another bill that you're about to file that could get a lot of attention, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So one of the big ones we're going to be rolling out is the one about social media censorship. That's been an issue for a while, and it's gotten even bigger. And we recognize the situation. We have a handful of people, really an oligarchy, a handful of people in San Francisco, and they've made themselves the gatekeepers of free speech for the rest of us. You know, the social media, that's the new town square. And especially these days when often the literal town square is closed because of the COVID-19 virus. Now, especially social media, that's where people go to share their ideas, to debate. And again, we have a handful of elite people with a very twisted worldview who want to be the gatekeepers of free speech. Now, we recognize these are private companies, but they are in the information business. Just like the phone company can't cut you off because they don't like your politics, nor should these companies be allowed to do that. So this is a big bill. The forces are already lining up against us on this bill. The governor is supporting this bill. The lieutenant governor who presides over the Texas Senate, Dan Patrick, told me this will be one of his top 10 priority bills. And so we'll be filing this bill within the next week or so. And we have a companion bill in the House with a very strong author and a lot of support. Our entire East Texas delegation is talking about this, and really across the state. And again, this is not a partisan issue. This is about free speech. Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, they should not be able to censor your speech from the left or from the right. Your free speech, your political views, your exercise of religion, those are sacrosanct in America. And we are not going to let a handful of San Francisco billionaires take those rights away from us.
So you're saying they'd be treated almost like a public utility? Not necessarily under the Public Utilities Commission, but in that vein?
That's it. There's a couple approaches. One view is that because they are a common carrier, again, like a public utility, like the phone company, right? They don't cut you off based on your politics. If they do, they get in trouble because they provide service to all comers. And so that's part of it. There's also the question that the federal government has given these companies so much power. They're more like a government entity because the federal government has given them the authority to regulate content, but they're saying we can't do anything about it. They're not held accountable. Normally, if you're a publisher and you decide what's being released, then you have to give account for it. But under the federal law that protects these companies, they can act as a publisher, decide who gets to speak, what they get to say, but then they're not held accountable for it. So the federal law that's in place gives them special powers, and it's not right. That federal law gives states very limited authority to regulate them, and we believe this bill threads the needle. We've worked with some constitutional scholars, some great lawyers. Other states are looking at this Texas bill. We believe 5 or 6 states are going to file a bill almost identical to ours. Texas tends to lead in many of these ways, and we're thankful for all the different approaches. Florida's taking a different approach. Arizona's trying something. We hope every state tries to attack this problem. So we're excited about this bill that we should be filing next week. We think this is going to get their attention. And again, it's not about the state of Texas. It's about the people of Texas. They shouldn't be treated this way.
Senator Hughes, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.